What's up, YouTube? It's JackalGoldKick, and in this video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on this Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef that's been going on lately. So I figured, since everyone and their mother's talking about this beef, and it's something that's been happening recently, and people are getting a lot of views talking about it, it's a trendy topic, it's getting a lot of attention. I figured I might as well jump on the bandwagon and talk about it and see if I can get any decent views off this. By the way, for those that don't know, I have merch available now. Jackal Gold Kick merch is available. Link in the description. Go to poppoptees.com. You can get Jackal Gold Kick merch there. Check it out. But anyways, let's get to this video of my thoughts on this Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef. So this beef technically has been happening since 2013. Kendrick Lamar started this with the control verse that he did on the Big Sean song. That started the fallout between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I found this out through the video where somebody covered the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. Why are they having beef? And it started all the way back then. And that's when Drake and Kendrick Lamar had a falling out. But Drake never directly dissed him for all that time until now. It was just subliminals. And I think Kendrick subliminally dissed him, but he also, I think, was more direct towards Drake. But Drake was definitely more the subliminal disser towards Kendrick over the years because he's always did subliminal disses up until now this year where he's actually doing direct songs to Kendrick now, and Kendrick's going back with direct songs as well. So this has been going on since 2013. And to speak real quick on these two rappers, Kendrick Lamar and Drake, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, I'm more of a fan of his earlier stuff from the Good Kid, Mad City era, songs like Swimming Pools and, Money Trees and stuff like that. And I'll be honest, Kendrick Lamar is not a rapper that I listen to like that all the time. He's not somebody I listen to on a daily basis. I wouldn't exactly put him in my favorite rappers ever, but he is a talented rapper and he can rap, and he is one of the better mainstream rappers. And there are some songs I do like by him. But the only time I really listened to Kendrick a lot was when he first came out, and then a little bit later after that. But I ain't listened to him like that in a while until obviously this beef, where I have been checking out some of the stuff by him, mostly through reaction videos following this beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. So Kendrick, like I said, Kendrick Lamar, not one of my favorite rappers ever. I'm not as big on his later music compared to his early music because it's the production and the song, the way the songs sound and how the beats are in his later songs. I just don't think they're as appealing as the stuff he was doing with like Swimming Pools and Money Trees and stuff like that, or the song Look Out for D's Hawks. That was a pretty good track as well. So yeah, I do think he's good overall, but those are my quick thoughts on Kendrick Lamar. And when it comes to Drake, for people that know my channel, I've never been a fan of Drake as a rapper. He's never been someone I've been into. Just never liked him that much. The only two songs I don't mind by him, I guess technically three of them would be Tweet Tweet with Jimmy Kimmel. I don't mind that one. That one works. Say Something with Timbaland. I don't mind that song. And then Forever, but that's a lot to do with Eminem's great verse on that song, which he has the best verse in that song, obviously. Those are like the only songs I can deal with Drake. But for the most part, I'm not really into Drake. He's too mainstream and soft and popish for me. I don't really care for his singing. I don't really care for his style. Just never really been big into him. So those are my quick thoughts on Drake. So I would say out of the two rappers, I definitely prefer Kendrick Lamar more than Drake. I would say Kendrick Lamar, he's much more of I would consider like what I would consider traditional hip hop, and he has a more appealing style, and he writes his own lyrics compared to Drake. And I would say out of the two, I prefer Kendrick Lamar for sure. Now when it comes to the beef itself, Kendrick Lamar started it off recently this year with that song Like That with Future and Metro Boomin, which I'm not a fan of that song itself. Don't really care for the beat. Don't really care for Future, and if Metro Boomin is on there, not my kind of hip hop. I don't like that kind of rap music. It's like that trap style. Not a fan of it. But Kendrick had pretty good rapping on there. He took shots at Drake and J. Cole, so that started it. I haven't heard the J. Cole song where he's dissing Kendrick Lamar, and I heard he apologized afterwards. I don't know if I'll check that one out or not. Never been huge into J. Cole, honestly, but I figured I'd cover that real quick. Then after that, Drake responded, or apparently it was leaked, his Drop and Give Me 50 song, which that was all right in terms of disses. He had some stuff to say about Kendrick Lamar. He has some stuff to say about other people he's beefing with, like Rick Ross and ASAP Rocky, which I'll speak a little bit on that later on, but I just want to focus mainly on this beef in this video. But for this, hey, he did his job well. I mean, he did what he could do as Drake at what he could do in terms of a diss. Then the other diss he did on Kendrick Lamar was the tailor made freestyle where he had AI Snoop Dogg, AI Tupac. I thought it was kind of lame for him to do that because Tupac is dead, and it's like you're gonna involve a dead guy into this beef when this guy is dead. It just seemed kind of. And then AI Snoop, which Snoop didn't really say much about this when it happened, and it just kind of seemed like really like you're not gonna say anything about this, Snoop. Like it just, I was puzzled that Snoop Dogg didn't have much to say about it. You know, like I feel like I feel like he would take an issue with this because he's cool with Kendrick, he's cool with Drake, but Drake's using AI Tupac in the song. I feel like Snoop would have took an issue with that. Like I don't really get that. And then Drake had a verse on there, and he had some stuff to say about Kendrick. So I would say in terms of dissing, the drop and gimme 50 and the tailor made freestyle, Drake's has some stuff to say about Kendrick, some jabs and stuff. He's had stuff to say about him. And, you know, I do give him credit for dissing Kendrick and going back and forth with him because some people don't respond to disses and some people don't make a diss track and go back and forth. But as disses, that's what I thought of him. Now, as songs, I probably wouldn't go back and listen to him like that because I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really a big fan of Drake. So that's what I think of his disses so far. Now to get to Kendrick's, I'm going in order, so that's why I ain't talked about Family Matters yet. So Kendrick finally responded with his song Euphoria, and I thought that diss was pretty good. He had a lot of stuff to say about Drake, and one of the things that I think sets Kendrick Lamar and Drake apart, and where I'll give my opinion, who I think has the edge in this beef, is Kendrick Lamar and just the Euphoria diss, he had a lot more stuff to say about Drake. He had a lot more potent stuff to say about Drake, just a lot more technical stuff to say about him. So I feel like he has the edge over Drake, which I'll talk about that a little bit more later. And the beat switch ups were cool. Then he did another diss on him called 616 to LA, which I did not like the beat at all on that song. I wasn't a fan of the production. That's not one I'd go back and listen to, but it did have good lyrics, and he had some potent stuff to say about Drake, and he said some stuff about DJ Academics as well. So those two disses had some good stuff to say from. I would say Euphoria is the better song compared to 616 to LA. And then Drake responded with his diss, Family Matters, which that diss, he did have some stuff to say about Kendrick Lamar and a few other people as well that he's beefing with. But one of my issues with that song, Family Matters by Drake, a lot of it was just kind of soft and sing-songy and popish and sort of like mainstream. It didn't seem like, something hardcore or tough or mean for like diss track. There was some singing in there, and I just thought that was kind of lame for a diss track. So, I mean, he had some stuff to say about Kendrick in there and had some, good disses about Kendrick Lamar, but there's too much sing-songy stuff in there, and I wasn't really a fan of the beats. The beat on the third part of the song was decent. I mean, he started to rap a little bit faster in the second part of the song, which is cool. So yeah, he had some stuff to say about him. And the music video was like montages of him in an area, and then one of them he has the car from Good Kid, Mad City getting smashed, and it's being drived around and stuff like that. So I thought that song had some good disses towards him, but it's not a song I'd go back to because the third beat was all right, but not really a big fan of Drake. And then Kendrick Lamar responded like an hour later, which is pretty fast, with the song Meet the Grams. And I would say out of all the disses in this beef and out of all the disses Kendrick's done, this is the most lethal one, I think, the most potent one, the most disrespectful one, because he, in the diss, is talking to each member of Drake's family about all the stuff and bullshit he was involved in, all the stuff he did. Then at the end, he's talking to Drake, and it's very disrespectful. It's also very different for a diss track because it's the first time I see someone do a diss where they're talking to their family members. The beat was all right on it. I would say it's a step up from 616 to LA in terms of like a song and a beat. And I think it's definitely the most potent one in terms of lyrics and what he's saying. Because he had a lot of crazy stuff to say about Drake in there and just the disrespect of, talking about his family. But to be fair, Drake talked about Kendrick Lamar's family too. And then after that, Kendrick Lamar dropped again another diss called Not Like Us. I would say that's the best one in terms of a song. I think the best one in terms of lyrics and what you're saying about somebody is definitely Meet the Grams. But in terms of an overall song and a diss song and something you can go back and listen to, I would say Not Like Us is the best one. And it's the best song. And yeah, it's the best song out of this whole beef. It has a really good West Coast type beat. DJ Mustard produced it, and I remember him working on some of YG stuff for his West Coast like album, which I reviewed back in the day with Acid Roots. I can't remember the name of it, but that has a pretty good beat on it. I think that's the best diss so far from this whole thing in terms of like a song to listen to. And he had some potent stuff to say in there as well about Drake and some of the people he's associated with. And that's the most recent one. And so far, this whole beef, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, who I think has the edge, is definitely Kendrick Lamar. I mean, Drake did respond to Kendrick Lamar and he did have some, points and stuff to say about Kendrick Lamar. But I think Kendrick Lamar is winning this and has the edge over him because Kendrick Lamar writes his own stuff. He's way more technical with his disses. He has a lot more potent, damaging stuff to say about Drake. He has a lot more on him. He also has more diss tracks released on him, and he writes his own stuff. Whereas Drake, yeah, he has some stuff to say about Kendrick, but he has ghostwriters. And I feel like as a lyricist and a rapper, and especially in a beef, I respect you more if you write your own stuff compared to somebody that doesn't write their own stuff. I don't know. That's kind of how I look at it. And I would say out of the two, I think Kendrick Lamar is winning this one. Now, to speak on some of the other stuff kind of connected to this beef, I just want to talk about the main beef real quick. So there's stuff with Rick Ross after Drake dropped to the drop and give me 50. Rick Ross dropped the Champagne Moments, which for those that know my channel, I'm not a fan of Rick Ross at all. Not a rapper I care for, but I think he did a pretty decent job for his diss on Drake called Champagne Moments. He had some stuff to say about him. It's definitely better than his diss tracks on 50 Cent and G Unit back in the day, that's for sure. So he had some stuff to say about Drake. That was an alright diss. It's kind of crazy to see him and Rick Ross beefing with each other because I remember when they were buddy buddy back in the day, back in the Cash Money days, back when I was doing all those rapper rants, that people have watched and loved. It's just crazy to think those people would be beefing with each other. And then ASAP Rocky's beefing with him, which I didn't hear his song dissing Drake, but they're beefing. The Weeknd, Metro Boomin, and a lot of people are beefing with Drake. I don't know all the ins and outs of why all these people are beefing with him. I just know about the Rick Ross thing a little bit. And then, of course, the main thing, Drake and the Kendrick Lamar beef. And I heard about the J. Cole apology. So, yeah, that's what I think of the whole Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef and some extra thoughts sprinkled on some other stuff. So, yeah, those are my overall thoughts on this beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. It'll be interesting to see if this continues, what Drake's going to do, what Kendrick Lamar is going to do, how much further this will go. But this has been an interesting and entertaining rap beef. I've been watching reaction videos covering it. I mean, technically, I'm still hearing the songs at the same time, but I like watching certain reactors cover it because it makes it even more interesting for me. But that's what I think of the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. Let me know in the comments what you think of this beef. And that's it for this video. Peace.